Well, you're welcome to the program Economy in Focus. As it implies, as the name implies rather, it is a program where we get to discuss things around the economy ranging from capital markets, stock exchange, and more. I am your host, Eugenia Solomon. Well, today on the program, we will be talking, or we're looking at the topic, protecting investors, understanding the SEC's, that's the Security and Exchange Commission's crackdown on unregistered investment schemes. And joining us to dissect this topic of discussion is an information professional and a policy analyst, Mr. Ogunleye Benedict Olalikon. Glad to have you on the program with us today.
Pleased to be with you.
Well, before we dive into the conversation proper, let's take a look at the background. Well, the Security and Exchange Commission, SEC, has warned influencers, bloggers, and celebrities against promoting unregistered investment schemes, citing the New Investment and Security Act 2025. The law imposes stiff penalties, including fines and jail terms, on promoters of Ponzi schemes and empowers the SEC to regulate digital assets. Well, let me ask you this question. What are the risks associated with investing in unregistered schemes, and how can investors protect themselves from that?
When a scheme is not registered and you get involved, you stand a chance of losing everything. It's like you drive in the traffic, for instance, and you decide to buy a product that should be guaranteed from somebody who has no shop, who has no forwarding address, and you just wind down the window, you pick up the phone, and then you pay. The reality is that if you get to discover that inside that package is not even a phone, there is no forwarding address to look for who you bought from. But if you have walked into a registered phone shop and the phone did not do what is expected to do as brand new, you can always go back in the name of warranty or guarantee, and then you get some form of reprieve. So getting involved with an unregistered business tells you clearly that you have decided not to be a sheep. If you put it properly, it is that when you get involved with what is legal and where there are procedures, you're trying to be a sheep. In the standard of the Bible, a sheep requires a shepherd, right?
Yeah.
But when you go for something that is not registered, you're actually saying, I am not a sheep, I don't need a shepherd. I can afford to be an illiterate goat. And then, of course, you can get to be treated like a goat.
Like the illiterate goat. So then how can the B part of the question, how can investors, do you think, how can they protect themselves from that?
By making sure, like I just said, rather than buy in the traffic or on the roadside, walk into a registered shop, and so you know that there is a forwarding address, there is an ownership structure, there is somebody or an organization that you can hold responsible in the event of something going south. But when the business is not registered, it means there are no claim of its owners. It's just been advertised by influencers or by the name of individuals or by people who walk around. They may even be using the brand name that is not their brand.
But sorry to say, one would say that this can only be achieved when you have a receipt in hand to claim that, yes, I bought this in so place. Because there are shops you go to, or there are things you buy that in a shop, a well-known shop that is that they don't issue receipt. And at the end of the day, you go there. What's the proof you have that, yes, I bought this in this particular shop and it has a fault? I want it to, like, I want to change it or something.
Well, most likely that's how we said. I said a proper shop. Some shops are improper. The fact that they are also shops doesn't mean they are not makeshift. You can come there next tomorrow and they won't even be there. Some can even give you receipt, and then in the receipt it's already written goods taken in good condition cannot be returned. Sometimes when I see that on the receipt, I will request the owner of the shop, for me to buy this, so you have to indicate a warranty period. If you cannot, I will not buy. And besides, there is, of course, if you are a registered, maybe trading partner with any of the multinational manufacturers, the truth is that you can even register your purchase online, irrespective of the shop where you buy. They call it maybe Pan-African warranty. So the warranty point may not even be the point of sale, but you only need to be sure that the point of sale is actually an authorized sales point.
Okay. So how does the new Investment and Security Act 2025 enhance investors' protection in Nigeria?
No, basically, when you say, because one of the things in the past is that when the business is not registered, majority of the investors don't even know whether the business is registered or not. They follow the promoters, who are the people promoting the business. So I think in a way it is good that the SEC is saying, if you are an influencer, if you are a promoter, go and be sure that the business you are promoting is registered. If it is not registered, you will be punished for promoting it when discovered that you are involved with the promotion. So in a way, it's scaling down the supervision or the certification, ensuring that these people are registered, is trickling down. So you don't just come with a fictitious name and come with a product. I should be able to check what does SEC has to say about this. What am I getting myself involved with? Now, if you can prevent that middle level of promoters that the public is likely to follow blindly, because they say, oh, you hear even radio advice, say even so and so person, they wash am. That is an so because of that person, his fans and followers will come here. But if he allows his name to be put on that product without verifying that there is proper registration, the new law is saying he becomes liable. So I think that is giving some more credibility to the fact that not just anybody can now rise up and begin to support unregistered businesses.
Okay, so by implication now you're saying that if one's name is used to promote a business and the person is not sure of the authenticity of the business, whether the business is registered or not, the person should debunk it.
Of course, you need to debunk that I am not associated with this product. Because once you can say that, of course your followers who then follow them is doing it, they are doing it at their own risk. You are no longer liable. But if you did not, I know in those days there used to be one advert. I won't mention the organization, but if the face of an actor was put on it, and it was a case of everybody followed me, and everybody followed him inside. I think even that business was registered. It's just that in those days, the Investment and Security Act was possibly not there. So the protection or the required, the coverage also of NDIC, even from banks at the time, was so low. Maybe just 50,000 naira or 5 million naira or something. It was very, very low. It was possibly a time when if you go to bank to collect 3,000 naira, you need a police escort. So everybody followed him. And when the business crashed, he was the person the market women were looking for. He had to run away from the city of Lagos. So that's the kind of thing they are trying to say. Although at that point it wasn't the government holding him liable, it was the people. But the government is now saying, on behalf of even the people that you have led, you can be held liable. And you're actually responsible. So it's not just the privilege of being a promoter. You also need to have the responsibility of ensuring that what you are promoting is genuine.
Okay. So earlier when you were talking, you made mention of maybe when you get to, at times when you go to a shop and a receipt is issued to you and it's written that
goods taken in good order cannot be returned.
Yeah. So, some people, honestly, one would say that with this, even if the owner of the shop comes and tells you like, this is how I want it, will you leave it like that?
Well, like I said, for me, I would likely not buy the product, except I have a secondary information, right, which is maybe for some global brand. You know that if you can check online and that a serial number exists genuinely with them, you actually can make your warranty claim.
That serial number, what serial number, and how can one access the serial number?
No, for a lot of products, the serial number are written on the product. Maybe for your laptop, it will be somewhere under the laptop. For your phone, it can be somewhere inside the phone or on the carton. So if that number is genuine, right, you can have a relationship with the manufacturer. The manufacturer will have a warranty point that is not contained in that shop.
So for the sake of the viewers, now, and an ordinary man outside who has no idea of how to access the serial number, is there a way you can tell us how the serial number looks like?
No, it varies from company to company. You're going to have maybe some lines, black and dark, that's something like by barcode, but there are also numbers written under it. Now, what I'm saying is there are companies, they will tell you we have Pan-African warranty. So it's written on the product. So which means irrespective of where you buy it, you can register it with the manufacturer as something that you have purchased. So where that happens, you have a link and a relationship with the manufacturer. And most likely the manufacturer will have a guarantee, a service point in the town where you are. Maybe the phone companies, for instance, several of them use the same warranty point. In Abuja, maybe somewhere in Zone 4. When you go to Kano, you find them somewhere on, there is a name of that street. In Lagos, of course, there are places where you can just go, irrespective of the brand, as long as the address is stated that that is their warranty point. And so they look at it and look at your claims and see if it is within warranty. Or not.
So the easiest way to get the serial number, I think, is by scanning it.
If it has a barcode, you scan.
Oh, it's okay. So we'll take a pause here for a quick breather. The program Economy in Focus will make a return shortly. Don't go away. Well, thank you for being there. If you are just joining us, you are watching the program Economy in Focus right here on Asset Television. Well, I'm your host, Eugenia Solomon, and I have my resource person here, Mr. Ogunloye Benedict. Agunloye Benedict. You did correct me earlier. Agunloye Benedict Olalekon. He is an informational professional and a policy analyst here dissecting our topic of discussion today. Now, we were talking earlier, but let me just go straight to the next question, yeah? What role can influencers, bloggers, and celebrity play in promoting financial literacy and responsible investment practices?
Well, they've got a lot of role to play because they've got followers. By even telling their followers, these are the things I do. These are the things that should be done. Because like we said, there are people who listen to them who don't listen to others. A lot of their followers are like children who have gone to school. When they come back from school, they said, my teacher says this. Even when mommy is trying to correct, it tells you what? No, my teacher says. And that's the way some of the followers are. They are dogmatic. So which means that the influencers need to take responsibilities to understand, to be financially literate. But the truth is that some of them are not even financially literate. They just say this is an opportunity to make money and they want to run into it, drive the number, generate the hits, and maybe get their money. So what we are therefore looking at is that the individual influencers need to also build up their own capacity. They themselves must become financially literate. That is the only way they can help their audience. If they don't know what is fake, genuine, and what is fake, then there is no way they can sell it. You can only give what you have. So the starting point is for us to be sure that before they start talking about those things, they themselves have an understanding of what it's involved.
Is okay. So how will the set regulatory oversight of digital assets impact the industry and investors?
Well, the impact definitely should be that it means that now the veracity of information, the correctness of information in the cyberspace will become more correct. Because it's been reduced to, in the old parlance, in the West, in Western Nigeria, they say Agbekulaja Kolole, Kolole, Ento Basile, no Shilarai. That is not how we explain. In those days, they keep the palm oil in the roof. There is a semi-roof in houses. So they keep palm oil in those semi-roof. Now, no individual can go there and get the palm oil down on its own. So they are saying it's not the thief that climbed into the ceiling alone that is the thief. The man who is also standing to collect it from him and put it down is also part of the process. Because if you drop the oil from up without anybody collecting it, when it hits the ground, it will pour.
Exactly.
So in a way, therefore, if you say that man, you just I only collected it, no. You are part of the stealing and you should be punished for it. So in a way, therefore, the cyber crime is not complete without the middle level, which is the influencer that is bringing the crowd. So if you can checkmate that, it's not to say that there will still not be the crime, but you should reduce it to a large percentage.
All right. So what is the fate of people who have already deposited in some Ponzi schemes that before the act?
Well, their fate is now that they know. Number one, you cannot make the law retroactive, at least as to punishing the influencer. But it's the individual to now know I have my money in this business that is not registered. I need to find a means of getting it out. And if I choose to keep it there, it is my own risk. We have a lot of, like I said, the sheep and the goat are never the same. Sheep requires a shepherd. There are goats, they actually don't want to be shepherded. They don't want to stay where you want them to stay. And a lot of humans are in that category. So for such people, it doesn't matter what you say. They will not listen. And the only thing I would always say is this. If they now come back complaining, as a matter of fact, the police should take their complaint and punish them for self-abuse.
For self-abuse?
Yes, they should be punished for self-abuse if after losing their money they complain. Because the truth is the rule says these things are not meant to be done. And then you choose to do it. And then you get your finger burned. When we were children, when that happens to you, they flog you first for doing the wrong thing before you get the treatment. So they should be punished for self-abuse.
Wow. It's all right. So this one Ponzi scheme are too many. So are you saying now that the Nigerians are gullible because there are many?
No, it is not gullibility. Goats are not gullible. Sheep are actually the ones that are gullible. People who follow rules are those who are gullible, so to say. Majority of people who don't follow rules are not gullible. They are just greedy, and their greed made them stupid. So it is not gullibility. It is greed followed by stupidity. And that's the way I would see it. Because a gullible person will most likely follow the rules to the letter. To the letter. When I was young, goats can be outside. But my grandmother would tell me, in the morning that when you see the sheep returning, instead of going towards their grazing point, and there is cloud in the air, that cloud will definitely result in rain. So they are as gullible as to know that the humidity is too high for us to remain out there. So they are rushing back to their hiding places. And you can be sure minutes after that the rain will begin to fall. But you are going to see goats trying to escape after that the rain has started. So it's not gullibility, it is greed backed leading to stupidity.
It's okay. So what steps do you think the SEC can take or should take to educate investors about the risks and benefits of investing in digital assets?
Well, I think that there are enough information already out there. It is that when you ask a lot of these people, do they even know that SEC exists? Do many Nigerians actually want any regulator? My little boy would always ask me that why did they waste money to put street lights in Abuja, traffic lights? I said, what do you mean? He said, because it's never obeyed. That in several places in Wusetu, nobody obey the traffic light. Or you just see, it's even you that is obeying, that people are now trying to like shout on as disturbing them. So we've got a lot of people who are disorderly. We've got a lot of people who does not like controls, who does not like checks and balances. Except maybe they are the one who should do the control. Then they think at that point you should respect them, which is even only out of ego, not out of their belief in the process. So to a large extent, therefore, SEC will continue to be SEC. Information will continue to be available. Yes, SEC do a lot of adverts here and there. I think they should do more. The National Orientation Agency, as a matter of fact, should get involved. Not just because of the people who are putting the money, but because of the source of the money that they are putting. When I say the source of the money, some of the money that goes into these things are money for children's school fees, are money for house rent. If the life of the landlord depends on the rent he's supposed to get, and maybe the caretaker collected the rent and decide to use it for a Ponzi scheme and the money is missing, yes, he would have to pay it because it's a debt, but while he is looking for ways to pay it, the landlord is stranded. The child cannot go to school. Sometimes it is medical. The medical bills cannot be paid and life can be lost. So to a large extent, therefore, there is that need for the National Orientation Agency to get involved, for SEC to be involved, for even the banks, the regular banks, to get involved in ensuring that people have the right education and the right information at time, so that people don't just take decision in the name of this looks good or somebody has done it and has collected a return.
It's all right. Well, this is where we draw the curtain on the program, Economy in Focus. Many thanks to our resource person, Mr. Aguloye Benedict Olalekon. Thank you so much for your thoughts this morning on the program. Well, and to you, our viewers, thank you so much for being there. Do keep a date with us next week for another episode. Well, don't forget to follow us on all our social media platforms for more updates and programs. I am Eugenia Solomon. Thank you for watching.